dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. A driver in southern Kentucky called 911 to report a bad crash, but when first responders showed up, it was something entirely different. Now fire and rescue workers are asking people to be careful when setting up certain types of displays. WYMT's Phil Pendleton explains.
First responders arrived Friday night after the 911 center received a call of a one-car crash.
Did you see anybody in the vehicle?
It looked like there might have been somebody in the vehicle.
Fire and rescue, along with the EMS and sheriff's deputies, soon realized this was no actual crash.
In 8 years of service, I've never gone to a call over a Halloween decoration, but I had always heard of other departments responding to that, and it's always sort of a joke that goes around this time of the year.
It's become a tradition for the residents at the corner of Slate Ridge and Old US 25 to put up creative decorations for Halloween.
He puts up the big bale of hay and makes a spider out of it every year, and he's got a Grim Reaper he puts somewhere every year.
First responders say they can see why someone would mistake this kind of decoration for the real thing.
It seemed that the car was smashed really bad, and I believe there was a fake body in the car. So it looked like someone was hurt in the car and the headlights were still on and the car had just happened.
Changes were made so that other drivers wouldn't make the same mistake.
This came in as a real car wreck because people couldn't see the decoration very well. It wasn't well lit, so it looked like it was a real car wreck.
A sign has been added so people won't call 911, and a light has been added to the nearby utility pole. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
The owner of the display did not want to talk on camera, but we were told they certainly value their local fire department's wishes. What led to a University of Kentucky student's death? That's the question UK police and the university are trying to answer. Lofton Hazelwood was found unresponsive Monday at Farmhouse Fraternity. The 18-year-old was rushed to the hospital where he died. The coroner says he died from too much alcohol. The fraternity is now suspended and several investigations are underway.
We'll be transparent about all of that, and if there are changes that need to be made or modifications or other sorts of moves or measures, we'll do that.
This is at least the 7th fraternity at the University of Kentucky to be suspended in some way since 2010.
Our beautiful weather has continued on into this afternoon, though we're beginning to see a few changes work in as we head into tonight. Outside right now, our Buffalo Mountain camera here in Perry County. We're sitting at 72, but notice they're not too far in the distance there on the horizon. Some high clouds beginning to move in, and I think just like last night, this should give us an opportunity for a pretty nice sunset out there. London Corbin Airport right now, another quiet scene, low 70s out at the airport at the moment, and that's where most of us are. Harlan the only exception, well, Harlan and Logan in those upper 60s, but otherwise low 70s rule the day out there as we head into this evening. It is a clean sweep on Pinpoint Doppler for now, but we go out to the west, and that's where we could run into a few showers. So keep that WYMT weather app handy. Not only will you have our latest forecast, but you can keep track of the forecast yourself and with the latest radar imagery as well, as some of those showers head our way for tomorrow. Temperatures down into the mid-50s for tonight. Now, we've got some showers moving back in, and I'll have the details on those coming up in just a bit. Steve?
Evan, thank you. A Richmond murder suspect was back in court this morning. Cameron Thomas is accused of killing Freddie Biggs last October. Police say he forced his way into an apartment on Main Street and later shot him. Today was his preliminary hearing. Thomas is also charged with burglary and possessing a handgun as a felon. His bond is set at $1 million. A final farewell today as family, friends, and the community said goodbye to the Clark County Judge Executive. Chris Pace died last week from COVID complications. He was just 44 years old. Those who knew him say he was a loving man who loved serving his community. Pastor Mike McCormick said he was at the hospital the night Pace died. He leaves behind a wife and 3 young children.
He got checked in the hospital about 5 o'clock that day. His wife took him. She laid her hands on his chest and had the kids pray for him, and he really died suddenly.
It's not clear if Pace had underlying health conditions or if he was vaccinated. He was Clark County's judge executive since 2019. Several state and local officials attended today's services. While CDC and FDA researchers continue to finalize recommendations for the COVID-19 vaccine for children ages 5 to 11, the Biden administration is preparing to start answering questions from parents. The push to get children vaccinated, according to Senior Advisor on Education Mary Wall, involves setting up communities to make sure the vaccine is readily available and the information is there for parents.
We also want to make sure that in working with trusted partners like the American Academy of Pediatrics and the American Association of Family Physicians, that we can make sure that family doctors and pediatricians all over the country are both able to give out advice on the vaccine and answer questions.
Coming up at 6, we'll hear from doctors in Lexington on how their children's hospital staff are preparing to vaccinate kids in the Commonwealth and what parents need to know before they make that decision. A Tennessee man was arrested Friday after smearing blood around multiple businesses. Police say 35-year-old Brian Carter broke a window at a business in which he then began flinging his blood around. 2 bystanders were holding down Carter when police arrived, and Carter assaulted one of them. Police say Carter caused more than $3,000 in damages. He was also taken to the hospital for his injuries. The Daniel Boone National Forest is asking for the public's help in giving feedback on trail conditions. It's a partnership with Virginia Tech, Penn State, and KNOXVILLE Enterprises. After months of on-the-ground assessment of more than 600 miles of trails, the trail planning team is now asking for public input through a virtual public engagement hub. This is all to get a comprehensive view of current trail conditions to better plan for the future. Users can provide feedback through an online survey, comment directly on interactive maps, or attend specific ranger district meetings. You can find those tools on the Daniel Boone National Forest website. A truck driver shortage is at a record high and is one of the reasons you see empty shelves as you shop. Ashland Community and Technical College is seeing its highest enrollment ever in their commercial driver's license classes, with their monthly classes booked until February. Instructor William Cottle says with the demand so high, many students can find local truck driving jobs, and these opportunities come with a high-paying salary.
It may not necessarily be the job you're looking for right at that minute, but you can get a job. You may have to be gone all week and be home on the weekend.
The course has about 8 students in each class, and the program graduated its first female driver earlier this year. Well, Bowling Green pet owners will get an upgrade to their pet boarding options in late November. A sister-owned pet hotel, the Barkmore, will offer daycare, boarding, and spa treatments for your pet. The pet hotel offers standard rooms to a luxurious stay starting on November 22nd. And daycare will be open on December 1st with rates starting at $18. The sisters owning this say they never imagined opening a pet hotel, but after talking with their dad, they decided to go for it.
Once we sat down and worked together, and once we worked together, all creatures, and seeing how good we flowed together and how we were able to build off each other and work really good, I think I was like, okay, I think we can do this. I think this will really work.
The sisters say they are excited to open a different atmosphere for pet owners in Bowling Green. The U.S. government reports that it expects household heating bills to rise more than 50% this winter. That's according to the Associated Press. They say it's all due to a shortage of heating oil and a potentially colder winter ahead. Allie Blake spoke to Columbia Gas about what to expect.
It's finally fall, the time of year where the temperature starts to drop and you debate turning on the heat or not. Well, you may want to think twice, because this year it looks like heating prices are expected to increase dramatically as we get into winter.
Typically have an increase in our prices about this time of year, but this year that increase is expected to be more significant.
This is all due to a national and global shortage of the reserves of natural gas, in turn driving up the costs.
They're struggling to pay the cost, their bills this summer or this winter, we have plenty of help available. And so we just urge people to know, we are here to help. Assistance is available. We want you to be safe.
People in Kentucky can go to Columbia Gas's website and get information.
From federal assistance, state assistance for people who are renters and need assistance with their utility bills. Just reach out, don't wait, and don't feel like we don't care, because we absolutely do. We want you to be warm. We want you to be safe.
There are also some tips on how to save energy and reduce some intake in your home that will help your wallet out.
Know how to make sure that their homes are energy efficient and that they're not losing money out of their windows and doors. And
it's tough because the pandemic has hit people so hard this year. But if you consider turning down the heat at night and implementing other energy efficient practices at home, hopefully that slight increase won't be as noticeable. In Lexington, Allie Blake, WKYT.
Now we have a web poll asking if you have turned on the heat in your home yet. Let's take a look at those numbers if we can. 62% we understand say yes so far. They have turned on their heat. 38% say no. You can still tell us on WYMT.com. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, Christmas shopping is already on the minds of many. We take a look at this year's shopping outlook with an eye on shifting supply and demand.
I've kept the heat off in my house so far, and we're going to try to keep that streak going. There's the changes in this week's forecast. While they aren't nearly as drastic as last week's, they are changes nonetheless. I'll have that full breakdown